All right, let's dive into a book that has probably sparked more arguments and debates among scholars than any other in the Old Testament, Deuteronomy. We're going to try and unlock a puzzle that's been around for well over a century.
So why does this one book get so much attention? What's the big deal? Well, it's because the date of this single book turns out to be the key to a massive puzzle about how the first 5 books of the Bible, what we call the Pentateuch, actually came to be. To really get it, we need to rewind a bit, back to when the whole mystery got started. We're talking about a major shift in how scholars began to look at these ancient texts.
You see, for centuries, pretty much everyone just agreed that Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Bible. I mean, it was the traditional view in both Judaism and Christianity for thousands of years. Seemed pretty straightforward.
But then the 1800s roll around, and a new generation of scholars starts looking at these texts with a fresh, critical eye. They start noticing all these little differences in writing style, in vocabulary, even in how God is portrayed. And they came up with a pretty radical new idea.
And that radical idea didn't just stay an idea. It grew into what is arguably the most influential theory in modern biblical studies, the documentary hypothesis. You might have heard it called the four sources theory or just JEDP. The main guy who really put this on the map, a scholar named Julius Wellhausen, basically argued that the Pentateuch isn't one book at all. Instead, it's more like a quilt, woven together from 4 totally different ancient documents over hundreds of years. So here are the 4 sources they proposed. You've got J for the Jehovah source, the oldest one. Then comes E for the Elohim source. And then, and this is the important one for us, D for Deuteronomy. And finally, you get P, the priestly source, which they believed was written way later. It creates this really neat, clean timeline of development. Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. Of these 4 sources, one of them is way more important than all the others. And that is, you guessed it, the D source, Deuteronomy. See, this is the crucial part. In this whole theory, Deuteronomy isn't just one more piece of the puzzle, it's the anchor. It's the one fixed point that allows scholars to date everything else. If you can't be sure about the date for D, the entire timeline just kind of falls apart. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Listen to what scholar G.W. Anderson said about it. He called Deuteronomy the keystone of the whole system. You know that central stone at the top of an arch that holds everything together? That's Deuteronomy in this theory. Another scholar, Otto Eisfeld, had this brilliant way of describing it. He called it an Archimedean point. You know that famous quote, "Give me a place to stand and I will move the earth"? Well, for Wellhausen's theory, Deuteronomy was that firm place to stand. Okay, so this begs a huge question, right? How in the world could they be so sure about one specific date, 621 BC of all things, for a book this old? Where did they get that number? Well, the answer comes from a specific story in the Bible itself, right out of the book of 2 Kings. The story goes that during the reign of this king, Josiah, some workers are cleaning up the temple in Jerusalem, and they stumble upon a long-lost book of the law. And finding this book kicks off a massive religious revolution. And this is the absolute core of the theory. Proponents claimed that the book of the law they found was Deuteronomy. And here's the kicker. They said it wasn't some ancient scroll from Moses' time. Nope. They argued it was actually written just a little while before it was discovered in the 7th century BC. But what proof did they have for that 7th century date? Well, the entire argument, and I mean the entire argument, came down to one single powerful idea found inside the book of Deuteronomy itself. Julius Wellhausen himself was super clear about this. He basically said, look, my whole theory, it all comes back to the centralization of worship. So what does that mean? Well, it's all about comparing 2 different laws. On one hand, you've got this earlier law from the book of Exodus, which seems to say, hey, you can build an altar and worship God pretty much wherever. But then you get to Deuteronomy, and the rule seems to change. It insists that all worship has to happen in one single central place. To the theorists, that sounded like a later, more developed idea. And once you lock Deuteronomy into that 621 BC spot, everything else just falls into place, at least for the theory. The older laws allowing multiple altars obviously had to come before it, and then the later legal codes, like the priestly source, had to come after, building on Deuteronomy's new rule. It created a beautiful evolutionary timeline. So you can imagine, this theory was a complete game changer. And it's left this huge legacy that's been both incredibly influential and, yeah, fiercely debated ever since.
I mean, for more than 100 years, the JDPI hypothesis wasn't just a theory. It became the theory. It was the standard approach in so many universities and seminaries. You pick up a popular commentary or a college textbook on the Old Testament, and chances are it's the starting point for everything.
But, and this is a big but, while you see it presented as fact in a lot of introductory books, once you get into the nitty-gritty, the technical scholarship, that agreement just evaporates. For decades, experts have been picking the whole thing apart, questioning every piece of it. Which, of course, brings us right back to our keystone. As G.W. Anderson pointed out, if you can cast serious doubt on that 621 BC date for Deuteronomy, the whole structure starts to look pretty shaky. Everything hangs on that one point. And that's really the core question that scholars are still wrestling with today. It's a great reminder that even the biggest, most influential ideas are built on a foundation. So if that one crucial keystone starts to wobble, what happens to the whole building?